what exactly that they do on their personal level. With me right now, I have Mr. Mr. Outule Rapuleng. Did I say that correctly? Yes. Okay. All right. Now, he is the head of ARIPO Academy. He's also responsible for IP training, capacity building, and skills development in Africa. He has worked as an IT analyst and acting assistant director of commercialization with office with research and development, the University of Botswana. Now, at the university, he was also involved in developing solutions for learners with disabilities, as well as university IP commercialization, teaching, and training. Thank you so much for joining me this wonderful Friday morning, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, so you're the head of ARIPO Academy. Please, can you tell us what ARIPO stands for, first of all?
ARIPO is the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization.
Okay. Now, I hear that today is World Intellectual Property Day.
That is true.
Right. So can you just tell us exactly what is that all about?
Annually, we celebrate the World Intellectual Property Day worldwide. And what happens is that each year there is a theme that is selected. And normally the theme has to have a relation or a connection with intellectual property. Mm-hmm. And the theme this year is intellectual property and sports. And I don't know, I've had the chance to listen to the speech by the Director General of the World Intellectual Property Organization, in which I thought he made a connection with the public lecture just outside here, where he ended his speech by saying that intellectual property indeed empowers and underlies all financial models in all sporting events around the whole world.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so for someone who's listening and doesn't understand, what exactly is intellectual property?
Intellectual property, well, it might sound complicated and sophisticated, but it's just as simple as creations of the mind. Okay. It could be, you could come up with some kind of invention or innovation.
Right.
See, what I'm looking at, these microphones are somebody's intellectual property.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so why is it important? Why is intellectual property very important?
It is important because, the innovators or inventors invest a lot of time and to a certain extent a lot of money in coming up with all these creations. So the basic simple model is to say, when you invest your time, energies and money into something, there has to be a return on that investment.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so if somebody steals something from me, what happens? Let's say you said, I created this computer,
yes,
the screen, and then somebody comes and says that they created it. Yeah. What happens then?
This is what is called infringement. If you create something and somebody maybe copies it or steals it, that in legal terms is referred to as infringement, and indeed is punishable by law.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
That is why we always emphasize that intellectual property has to have an element of enforcement where you can rest assured that your technologies are protected under law. Yeah.
I'm sorry to ask, where are you from?
I mean, my home country?
Yes.
Botswana.
Right.
Yes.
First time in Zimbabwe?
No. I work here. So.
Oh, you work here?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, Tshila?
What I wanted to find out from you, sir, because you mentioned that, people invest time and money and all sorts of things into a product, into a thought, into an idea. And sometimes we have a situation where maybe someone doesn't have money and they've invested their minds, their thoughts and their ideas. How can they protect their property?
Okay.
And what is the process of registering a product or a thought or an idea?
Yes. Well, thank you for that question. Indeed, a very important question, because most people, find themselves with all these beautiful ideas but not knowing what to do next with them. The very most important thing is, first of all, to go to the local office that protects intellectual property. In this case, in Zimbabwe, we have Zimbabwe IP Office, or ZIPO. You could go there and share with them, and you could also fortunately for Zimbabwe, here in Harare, we have a regional office, ARIPO, African Regional Intellectual Property Organization, which has regional membership. You could also go there and ask them to guide you as to what to do next without having to maybe spend lots of money with a legal counsel and all that.
But money will be spent.
Oh, of course, money will be spent. And by the way, if you go to all these people, ZIPO or ARIPO, they could give you wise counsel as to where to get that kind of assistance.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so can you just give us the details of the place where they can come to in terms of maybe an address, a contact number, email address, and so forth?
ZIPO, the national office, in fact, that's the first port of call normally because we are in Zimbabwe, we are Zimbabweans. So it's in Nelson Mandela Street in town under Ministry of Justice.
Okay.
And we also have ARIPO because we wouldn't turn you away. If you come to ARIPO, we'll also assist you. We are on 11 Natal Road in Belgravia.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming in and giving us quite an interesting insight on what intellectual property is all about.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you
so
for
much.
having me.
Anytime.
Okay.
So, of course, it's ZiFM Stereo, my station, your station. We are